Our next guest has his comedy special Enough for Everybody, available now on YouTube. Please welcome the very funny Joe List.
Thank you. Oh, stop it. Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys. I'm happy to be here. I have a lot of friends. I love my friends, but I also don't like them. I don't know if you guys have that. I was talking to my buddy the other day. Sometimes I have trouble sleeping. I get anxious, you know, you can't sleep. I told my buddy, I was like, man, I couldn't sleep last night. He goes, oh, you gotta sleep. I was like, no, I know. I wanted to sleep. You're misunderstanding. I'm not quitting sleeping. Then he goes, lack of sleep can lead to dementia. Nice. I'm glad I brought this up with you. That'll help me tonight because last night I was tossing and turning, not thinking about dementia. But tonight, I'll contemplate dementia. That'll put me right to bed. Here's some good sleep advice if you have trouble sleeping. Count backwards from 500. I don't know if you've ever heard that. That focuses you on something so you're not going crazy, but it's boring enough that you'll fall asleep. It works if it works. If it doesn't work, it's like a countdown to homicidal breakdown. You start counting, get into the 20s, you're like, I don't think this is gonna work out for me, you know? Very unlikely you're gonna be like, 3, 2, 1. Oh my God, I'm out. Oh. How did they time it so well? I got a buddy, we were in Manhattan Beach, California recently. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Manhattan Beach. Very beautiful area. Yeah. Spectacular, Southern California. We're walking up the beach, the boardwalk. It's like Pacific Ocean on the left. Big, huge houses, very wealthy area. I pointed to like a mansion. I was like, man, I'd kill to have this house. My buddy goes, you wouldn't want to pay the taxes on that thing. You know these people, the taxes people? I'm like, yeah, I'm not paying taxes in this situation. I'm just saying it's a nice house. I'm not picturing myself as I am in my current financial situation, like, I can't swing this. I should have wished for a house in rural Indiana where I could afford the property taxes. I was just making small talk. I didn't think they were going to give me the house and then charge me property taxes on it, but I got a friend, we had a gig recently, he's a comedian, he was opening for me, his name is Steve, and we were on the same flight. I was in first class, I'm better than him. And I got on the plane, and I was sitting there, and this really beautiful woman sat next to me on the plane, very attractive, which has nothing to do with the story. I just want you to know that very attractive women sit next to me. You know, if an airline tells them they have to, but still cool. And my friend Steve, he got on the plane. Now, comedians, we're kind of like ball busters, you know, we like to give each other flack. So when he got on the plane, I said, hey, I hope your bag doesn't fit in the overhead. Not hilarious, just fun, whatever. And then this lady, she goes, that's a really dark thing to wish on somebody. Which is annoying, because that's not a dark thing to wish. Dark would be like if I said, I hope the plane crashes and you're the only one that dies. That would be a dark thing. So I just said, oh, we're friends. It was just my way of being like, well, why don't you mind your own business? I was like, we're friends. And then she said, that makes it worse. Now I'm furious, because now we're fighting. And once again, she's wrong, because that doesn't make it worse. That makes it better. It would be way worse if random people were getting on a plane and I was sitting in first class going, hey, I hope your bag doesn't fit in the overhead. Like, do I know you? No, you don't know me. I don't like your face. Just get back there. I hope your day's ruined. First class. You know? I do love my friends, but they're dumb. I'm dumb. I'm dumb. I want you to know I'm dumb. My friends are, you know how like you're dumb and your friends are dumb, so you're all dumb together. But then occasionally your friend will do something that takes it to a new level where you're kind of thinking, am I doing community service by hanging out with this person? My buddy and I, we went to an art museum. We're not really art guys, but I was like, how hard can it be to look at art? We walk in, my buddy walks up to a painting. Pretend there's a painting here. He walks up, he just starts rubbing the painting with his hand. I swear to God, just all 5 fingers. And then I had to say, I'm like, are you joking? Because if you're joking, that's hilarious. I don't want to ruin a good bit if you're kidding. And he was like, what? And I had to say, you don't touch paintings. And then he said, why? And And that's when I realized I'm only a little bit smarter than him, because I was like, I actually don't know why. It is dry. And I was like, you know what? I'm done. Maybe I'm wrong. So I just started touching the painting as well. By the way, touches paintings, that's a fun term for your friend who's kind of a dum-dum, you know? Like, when I was growing up, we use terms that you can't use anymore. But touches paintings, that's kind of nice. You can be like, this is my friend Pete. He's a good guy. He touches paintings, but he's a nice guy. You're going to like him. You guys are great. My name's Joe List. Thank you so much.
Knockout. That's how you do it. That is fantastic. Hey, thank you. Joe List. That's how you do it. Enough for Everybody is available on YouTube now. That was fantastic. We'll be right back, everybody.